Hi everyone. I hope the week's been going okay. I apologize the first period for not posting the lesson in time. So today you're going to be doing some Pythagorean theorem reviews. Apparently last year some of you guys had it and some of you guys did not. This is one of the 8th grade math standards, and it's something that you need to know and refresh on in case you have had it before. I'm going to do a couple of types of problems from this review. So again, if you haven't done this before, probably get some help from someone who has, and then also watch this video and do the practice problems as I do them, and then go back and finish them. So let me go through what you're trying to do with a Pythagorean theorem. You have a right triangle, and I'm going to start with number 2 on this one, and this is the worksheet that's called Finding the Hypotenuse, Missing Hypotenuse. And one of the things that you're going to find is that when you, what the Pythagorean theorem does, it helps you find a missing side of a right triangle. And one of the things I like to do is to tell my students how to label these sides. The smallest side, I always like to try to label the A side. And then the second smallest, the B side. And then the largest, the C side. And you're going to notice the largest side is the side across the 90-degree angle. And the Pythagorean theorem is a simple equation. It's a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And so all you do is you take your sides. I'm going to take the a side, and I'm going to go 4 squared. And then I'm going to take the b side, which is 5 plus 5 squared, is equal to c squared, which I don't know. Well, 4 squared is equal to 16, and then 5 squared is equal to 25. And that's equal to c squared. And then 16 plus 25 is equal to, let's see, I'm thinking here, 41 is equal to c squared. Now, the opposite of something squared is the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of 41 is equal to c. And I want to show you guys how to do something. I can put that in the calculator, but one of the things I'm going to want you to try to push yourself to do is to do some of these without the calculator. So I know that the perfect square root below the square root of 41 is actually equal to the square root of 36, and then the one above it is actually equal to square root of 49. I can probably estimate this. If I look at these two numbers here, 36 is about 5 units away from 41, and 49 is about 8 units away. So I'm going to think, oh, okay, it's actually closer to 36. So I'm going to estimate this to be about, the square root of 36 is 6, and the square root of 49 is 7. So probably about 6.4. And again, I just did that estimate in my head. You can take a calculator and find out the real value of c. So that the c side, which is called the hypotenuse, the hippo side, is equal to 6.41, about 6.4. And if you look at your sides, it does make sense. So this a side is about 4, the b side is 5, and then 6.4. That does seem to make sense. Let me do another example with you. Sometimes your right triangle is turned a different way, so I'm going to do number 3. And one of the things I notice is that here is the right angle of this triangle. And again, I like to label the smallest side the A side, the middle side, the B side, and the side opposite of the 90-degree angle, the C side, which is the hypotenuse. So the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So again, we're going to plug these in. Here is my a, so I'm going to go 27 squared. Here's my b, 32 squared. And my c, I don't know. And so when I plug those into the calculator, I get the following. I end up getting 729 plus 1024 is equal to c squared. And I apologize for the writing over here. So I would add 729 to 1204, and I end up getting 1753 is equal to the square root of c squared. And so I do the opposite operation. In order to find c squared, I go the square root of 1753 is 41.868688. So I'm going to round that to 41.9 is equal to c. And so then I look back at my answers and I see if it makes sense. So this longest side is about 41. The middle side is about 32. The small side is 27. That answer seems to me make sense. What I'd like you to do is to complete this sheet only. So pause the video, complete this section here, and then check your answers. And then you're going to resume the video so that I can show you how to find sides that are either the A side or the B side. Now on this worksheet, I hope you guys did well on the other worksheet. I know there were some word problems in there. I hope you were able to draw those. So let's start with what happens when you have a missing leg. So I have another right triangle, and I'm going to start with number 2. And you're going to notice that I have the C side. Again, that's the side opposite of the 90-degree angle. And then I have, and I can call this either, this looks like a smaller side than the other one. I can call this the A side and the B side. It doesn't matter with the smaller legs, which they are, but I like to call the smaller one the A side. So I know my C side, I know my A side, but I don't know my B side. So how do you solve a problem like this? Well, what you do is, and I'm going to make this a little bigger, is you go ahead and write your Pythagorean theorem equation. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And you're going to see that A is equal to 5 squared. I'm going to put what I know. I don't know what B squared is, but I do know what C squared is. So I'm going to put that in. So 5 squared is 25. I still don't know what B squared is. 8 squared is 8 times 8 is 64. And if you look at this, you are solving an equation, and we've been doing that. So in order to find B squared, I'm going to move the numbers to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. And when I do that, that's gone. I have B squared is equal to 39. And the opposite of something squared is the square root of 39. And I can plug that into my calculator, or I can estimate that. And again, this is how I would estimate that square root. If I have the square root of 39, it is between the square root of 36 and the square root of 49. It's about 3 units from 36, and it's about 10 units from 49. So I am guessing that it's going to be about, so square root of 36 is 6, and square root of 49 is 7. It's going to be about 6 maybe 2 or 3. So then I'm going to plug that into the calculator to see if I'm correct. And I am off by, the calculator gives me 6.2449, so it's about 6.3. Okay, so my estimate was this. My calculator rounds to that, so I'm pretty close. Let's see if that answer makes sense. So let's put that on the B side. It's 6.3. I'm rounding to the 10th. So 5, 6.3, and 8. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I probably got that right. Let's go and do 6. So, because again, not all the triangles are going to be put in an arrangement where you can really figure out the A and C side very easily. So if you look at this triangle here in number 6, you should notice one way to find out where the 90-degree angle is to find out what looks to be the largest side. And I'm going to say this 9-inch side kind of looks to be the largest side. If it's the largest, then my 90-degree angle is here. This one looks like a smaller side, my question mark, so I'm going to call that the A side. This looks like the medium side. I'm going to call that the B side. So let's go ahead and solve this problem. Let's set this up again. I have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. I don't know what A is, and I do know that B is 7 inches, so I'm going to plug that in. My C is 9 inches, so I'm going to plug that in. So then A squared plus 7 squared is 49 is equal to 81. I'm going to subtract 49 from both sides, and I end up getting A squared is equal to 32. And then the opposite of A squared is the square root of the number. So I find the square root of 32. And when I plug it into my calculator, or if I approximate that, I get about 5.656. I'm going to round that to 5.7. So let's see if that answer makes sense. If that's my A side, it's the smaller side, 5.7, 7 inches, and 9 inches tend to make sense. So what I'd like you to do is to work the problems on this page and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the worksheet and check your answers, and then proceed to the next activity. This worksheet here is a mixture of finding any of the sides. I think after doing the previous 2 pages, you should be able to successfully figure out how to do this page. Again, check your answers, and then go on to the next page, and then play the video. On Thursday, I'm going to show you how to do the rest of this worksheet. This is the Pythagorean triples, and the next page of this worksheet are some Pythagorean theorem word problems, and so those will be warm-ups for Thursday. What I'd like you to do for learning and practice is to download the sheet about voting for CPM, read that, and then do your best to attempt to figure out how many people in our class would make up each of the letters, and how you would arrange your classmates in order to form those letters. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Enjoy your day. Bye.